Hi, Pete.
Ah, he's here.
So would you believe that my tardiness was so I could hear you lay out all your arguments?
It actually helped them.
It just dawned on me like, that's the perfect answer.
That's not bad.
I like it.
I did not ask you to go to the stadium store.
No, you didn't ask me.
You said
I
that.
said, I'm going to go to the stadium store, and you said, oh, I will walk with you.
A lot of your story was accurate, though. Except for the part where the girl fake took a call.
That's not true.
I know her father.
Yeah, but I think she was tired of that conversation.
She stopped me.
She did. She said, well, that's vague, but she did acknowledge that she knew you. I didn't see how they.
Okay, okay.
But I didn't say that she didn't know you. I did acknowledge that she knew you.
And
you just said the conversation ran its course.
Yes.
Right. On the way back from visiting with the gentleman who you met before.
Yeah, I did meet him before.
There's history there. On the way back, I said, there's the stadium store.
Oh, I saw it on the way there.
The plot thickens.
And you said, and I quote,
the lines were
I don't want to
outrageous.
stand in that line. I noticed that conveniently got left out of the store.
So he did point it out to you.
Well, he said originally, there's one store here, but we're not. You want to go to the one down this way, so we kept walking down that way. Here I am walking. He had no intention of going. There's no store down there.
Yes, there is around the corner. How do you know? You didn't go any further.
Ooh. Touche.
Yeah, because I was stuck listening to this conversation between him and this guy for
Nobody's told
20
you.
It was a
minutes.
PT meet and
You
greet.
could do both things. When I stopped to meet that gentleman, you could have just go around.
I guess I was unaware that we were going to be there for about 20 minutes with this. I thought
Was
we
it
were
20?
stopping, saying hello, and then we were going to continue our walk.
This gentleman.
And then when the conversation was over, the walk didn't continue. It was, okay, I'm going back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
I never had any intention of getting anything at the stadium store. I guess I didn't fully grasp how lost you were in that building. I thought, like, you knew where stuff was. So I apologize.
no, he clearly didn't. He was relying on you, Pete, to be the
And
pilot.
I didn't ask him to come with me. He volunteered to come
PT,
with
this
me.
chair is broken. PT, the chair is broken. PT, the chair is broken. Get another chair! Like, what do you want me to do?
Dad.
Oh, so I am, like, all set up. I'm in my chair. I sit down.
Tablets ready.
Everything's out. I'm plugged in. I'm
Wow.
underneath and plugged in.
Yep.
Can we change chairs? Can we change seats? I'm like, I'm sitting in this chair. I'm okay. I'm right here. I like where I'm sitting. We had good spots, too, because we were by the stairs, so no one was sitting on either my left or, if I switched to his seat, to my right.
Nice.
But there was someone to my left. And the other side, someone was to my right.
So here's the deal.
Why'd
okay?
you want to switch seats?
Well, because I wanted to sit next to the third person of our party who I felt would be more comfortable with me sitting next to that person.
Yes.
That also, you should know that Kevin Durso, our 97.3 ESPN Flyers reporter, was with us as well. So we really had the whole team. Okay?
Yeah, right.
But Kevin's seat, for whatever reason, we had 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN, 97.3 ESPN, and then there was a WENJ FM seat.
Yeah, it was really odd the way they labeled those three.
I'm gonna take the blame for that. I'm sure it's my fault somewhere.
I didn't blame you.
Well, I signed up for the credentials for everybody.
Yeah, but what
I'm
how's that
not
on
blaming
you?
you on that.
Not on you.
Perhaps I designated him. In fact, I know what I designated him. I designated him beat reporter, and the rest of us, I just said radio.
Okay.
So there you go.
There you go.
But Kevin Durso had put his stuff down in the seat that Mike eventually sat in. So Mike, being Mike, have you met the?
So wait, Durso took his seat?
Well, no seat. All they said
They
was
weren't labeled by
right,
name.
They
They
all
were
said
only labeled by
97.3,
organization.
right.
Sure, but
Right.
you wanted that seat. That was your
No,
seat.
no.
No.
He didn't care which seat he had to begin with.
Okay.
But once he was settled, he wanted to stay in that seat.
Gotcha.
And the other person of our party, like, they went to a seat, Gill went to a seat. All of a sudden, ring around the rosy, or like playing what's the chair game where you don't have a chair?
Musical chairs?
Thank you. They were playing that, and guess who didn't have a seat? The PT. Now the PT's standing there like, what do I do? And Gill's like, I don't know. And I said, well,
He
who's
did have a seat. The one that I ended up sitting in.
Sure, I'm going to sit down in Siberia. You didn't sit in Siberia.
Siberia.
Okay? Gill's trying to, throw me out to the East Block.
Oh, man.
So I said to him, I bet this is Kevin Durso's stuff. But at that point now, he's busy plugging in, digging his toes in the sand, getting a little bit better into his spot, because he knows it's coming.
Of course he does.
So finally I said, could we switch? I made a compelling argument to switch. He agrees for the switch.
Wow. Okay.
But he's not pleased about it.
He reluctantly agrees.
And the person that sat next to him.
This was why I was not.
Who was it?
But did
you can't say.
Did you really study who that person? Because it could have been anybody.
There's nothing wrong with the person more so than it just there was less room.
Right, because of the person's whatever.
There was less room, let's say.
Gotcha.
There was a gentleman who was sizable.
Right.
In the
Right.
BG
Not a
ball.
tiny person.
Yes.
Right.
So nevertheless, we get in the middle of the game. There's at some point in the game, and Gill's like, PT. Why have they moved the dates of the PGA Championship? Now, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, I'm tweeting some stuff out, I'm saving some pictures. You know me, multitasking, very hard.
Yep.
Difficult for the PT.
Yep, you're doing
so
your best.
I start to try to answer the question. In fact, I even Google why they moved the dates of the PGA Championship. I answer the question for said individual, and all of a sudden the light bulb goes off. And I open up Facebook Messenger, and I send a message to the MG and say, I know what you did. And he just has this little grin on his face. He didn't care. He just wanted this guy to stop talking to him about stupid stuff. So he's like, hey, PT, answer this idiot's question.
So you sent PT basically on a mission that you did not care what the end result
to be
was.
honest,
But do I
didn't know-
get any points for falling on the grenade there?
Nope,
No.
nope,
You
nope.
just took me away from the stadium store.
No, see, that's the way I didn't legitimately know the answer to his question. Pete, being a golf fan, I figured had an answer. And I know Pete, meaning he will engage with this man, meaning that I won't have to engage for a
Right.
good 25 minutes
PT
now.
would enjoy conversing with him, where you, on the other hand, would not.
I was paying attention to the game. He's not paying attention to the game.
Wow.
You grinned. I was totally paying attention to the game. I wasn't watching the Houston Rockets. You
should've
admitted when I sent that private message to you, you had that grin on your face.
Well,
You
because
got me.
once you said that, I was like, and there could be another ulterior motive. But at
Side
first, I
benefit.
literally was, of course, I'm thinking how I would answer the question. Oh, this is the reason. And then that's it. I didn't realize, I forgot that I'm dealing with two people who just want to keep engaging. So the two of them are talking back and forth, and I'm sitting in the middle like a damn ping pong ball.
He loved it. So what we're saying
Did he
is
love it?
He loved his seat, and he can't wait to go back again. I will say this. When we were in Pittsburgh, there was an issue with, like, popcorn and hats. Okay? That's all I'm saying, popcorn and hats.
Okay.
There was a hat problem in this game.
Yeah, we thought we weren't going to get our quote-unquote hat.
Oh, man.
Now, I have not seen MG so excited.
What, for a hat?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have all of the other hats, and they're starting to get a little, I needed an upgrade.
Okay. So now you have the new
So
Stadium
they give
Series
out
hat.
the hats to the media for working and covering the game.
Right.
So the girl, it wasn't until like the third period that the girls finally came down and was like, would you like a hat?
Now, how many times? Now, not for nothing. I was coming back
It's a
from
good-looking hat.
my 15th Diet Pepsi, and I did say to MG,
Yeah, sure.
hey, guess what? Good news, MG. They're getting us hats. And you know why I said that? Because for the entire first period, second period, all he kept saying to me was, PT, no hat. PT, no hat. PT, where's the hat? PT, you think they're going to give us a hat? PT, where's the hat? I thought they were going to give us a hat. Jeez, PT, I think I have to go buy a hat now. Why didn't you tell me where the store was, PT, that I could have bought the hat?
These
PT,
are all
PT,
fabricated,
where's
but
the hat?
funny nonetheless. So the girls come down, and the girl has like a pile of hats in her hand.
Right.
She's like, would you like a hat? And I grab the hat. She goes down the row. Then the other girl goes where Pete's sitting down the other way.
Right, starts to my right. So literally, Gill has his hat from the one girl. The person on my right has their hat, and I'm thinking like, whoa, I'm not going to get a hat?
Yeah, they
Well,
passed him.
right.
So I, of course, was ear to ear. I was loving
man.
it. So then she comes back, gives him that, and then she gets to me.
She goes to give
and
another
my hat is put away.
Wow.
So she says, did you get a hat?
No, she just put it down.
No, I grabbed the hat. I didn't say yes or no. I just grabbed it. And then the guy sitting next to me says, oh, I already got one. And I was like, so I handed mine back.
You handed it back?
Yeah. So
Wow.
PT
I would
was
have
like,
kept it. I would have kept
I
it.
can't believe you just did that. I said, well, he blew my cover that we all already got the hat.
Nah, just because he got it.
Which, by the way, is just another strike against the
Yes!
Davis individual.
Oh, man.
I said to the guy, too, I said, you blew my... He felt so bad that he went up and said, let me see if I can find you another hat.
So you sent him on a mission. You just have people
I
running
didn't
left
tell
and
him.
right.
He just felt bad. I
Nah.
said, I'm only kidding. I said, she asked if I had a hat, and I already did, and I grabbed one. And you had said, we already got them, and I felt bad saying, I'm going to be the one jerk that grabbed two hats.
It's like an episode of Seinfeld.
And you were
I was just cracking up on the inside, man. Oh, I was dying when he had no hat. I was like, this serves you right that you would not get the hat.
And the funny thing is I don't really wear that style of hat.
No, I don't see you wearing that hat.
What type of hat was it?
It's a toque.
Yeah.
Google toque.
Ski hat.
T-O-Q-U-E. Google
Ski
that.
hat with the ball on the top.
Oh, okay.
No, I want you to learn something. I'm an educator now.
I like those hats.
Oh, no.
You could have grabbed me one, guys. No big deal.
I tried to get an extra one. Yeah, and
The guy
my
on his
cover was
left,
blown.
I know.
My cover was blown. But the first one I got was at the Winter Classic. Now, I still wear that one.
That was in Citizens Bank Park
2010.
2012.
Wow, the first one.
12. Yeah.
Correct.
10 was Boston.
Okay.
It's a blue one. It doesn't have the ball on the top like these newer ones do, but I still wear that hat. That's like my go-to ski hat when I wear one.
So you have 3 now.
Then I got the one last year from Pittsburgh, which is oddly blue and yellow.
Right.
Why is it blue and yellow?
Pittsburgh's original colors were blue and yellow.
Yeah, but it's like not that color blue. It's a navy blue.
I don't know.
Oh, it's not that baby blue that they wear?
No. And then and then this one this year was black and white. So this one's sharp.
This one's
really
pretty
nice.
good. Yeah. Matching the NHL shield or the NHL colors, black and white.
Yeah, but
There you go.
Black and gray.
So yes, I have the 3 different ones now, but
PT, where's my hat? PT.
You're not going to wear that hat?
The hat that I got, I have already re-gifted to someone.
Nice.
Was it Josh?
Classic PT
That is not
fashion.
correct. No. You know I'm a big re-gifter.
Yeah, I figured that.
I mean, I was already planning where that hat was going before she dropped it down.
On the car ride up, he was planning that.
On the car ride up, I was singing a song of relief because
Yeah, you
somebody
were
in the
trying to
back
get
seat
out
was
of
hoping I got pulled over.
I wasn't cheering for you, but once you did,
Once
get
you
pulled
did,
over,
he was kind of hoping
I was
for
really pulling for
Let
you.
me show you this watch.
Yeah, can you believe the watch story? It wasn't the same watch story, but it was just a watch story that came out.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm actually not that surprised that you had to go there, and it worked, right?
No. The watch didn't
No,
get
the
him out
watch
of
didn't do anything.
Didn't do nothing?
Like, okay, you're now off the hook now. He's already said you got the warning. At that point, I'm going to shut my window and leave.
You're leaving, yes.
Right? We're there for another 10 minutes with him telling stories. The watch.
Well, the gentleman, the trooper that pulled us over, did say, all right, so tell us about the game. And I was very thankful that you were there because earlier in the day I had texted you all the rules of, like, the screen image of, like, if the game is going to be called off after the second period, this, that. And you, like, were like Rain Man, reading it off chapter and verse, like, oh, if they're going to do this, then they're going to do this. And if it rains here, it's going to be this. Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, thank God Gill's here because, I can't even remember my own name.
Sure,
That
especially
said,
in that situation.
When the guy came back and said, I'm going to give you a warning and told me what my speed was and et cetera, then he says, then he kind of leans down a little bit. He says, so what's the deal with the game? And I thought, oh, okay, traffic stop's over. Now it's just
Now
a
it's
couple of
chatting
guys
time,
like,
yeah.
well, let's find out what's going on.
Yeah, except if that was it. Like, oh, they said they're going to play.
Right, yeah. He
That
went
would've
into
been it.
a...
Instead it was, hey, sir, I'm glad you looked me in the eyes because one time when I was driving the TV 40 news van, see the watch right here? Yeah, there it is right there. The guy who pulled me over, he wouldn't even give me the courtesy of looking at me. I'm like, really? Is this really happening right now? Let's go.
That is not how the story went. Oh, you're saying let's go? You were the one that was late.
Ooh. It's a heck of a
See what
day
I'm
that I
talking
missed
about?
out. I
When
know,
you're
man.
late, you know how it feels when other people are late?
That's how it goes.
It's no good.
To experience...
By the way, I wasn't late. We didn't say, hey, be here at 4:15. It was just, let's meet at this time after the basketball game was over. That's what time
4 o'clock. We had said 4 o'clock. We established 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but I wasn't out of the game by that time. I can't make the game end any faster.
Did you use the shortcut getting out of Stockton? You probably don't know, do you?
Ooh.
Well,
Probably
not going to
does.
save me a minute.
Could go a long way.
1 minute faster, but he would have pulled somebody else over and it would have been us.
Ooh.
No, he was sitting there. He had you, man. 88.
Hey, you told the number?
It's Tuesday with Thompson, Mike Gill, Ryan Rothstein, Pete Thompson, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. So, Peter.
Michael, this one's here for all the fellas.
Yes. On a serious note,
Aw.
what did you think of the Simmonds deal? Were you, like, dismayed at the return? Did you feel like, good job, Chuck Fletcher? Did you throw something at the television? Did you light the Bud Light scoring lamp over your television?
I'll go with this. I thought that they got the best deal they could at the time they moved him, right? And I'm happy for Simmer to go back and play with Lavi again, the one coach that he had
Threw a lot of hockey names
that
out
truly
there.
believed
Simmer,
in him.
Lavi.
Okay? So at the end of the day, I thought they got the best value that they could at the time they moved him. If they moved him a little earlier, maybe, say after the 2017 season when his price was the highest. But that's the thing. Guys' prices. Wayne Simmonds, when he came to Philadelphia, really became Wayne Simmonds. He wasn't the Wayne Train in L.A. He wasn't Simmer in L.A. I mean, yeah, he might have had those nicknames, but he didn't have that style. He didn't have that power play jam like Peter Laviolette used to say, okay? So Wayne Simmonds became the heart and soul of the hockey team and certainly did it in the Stadium Series the other night. There wasn't a person in the building, including the players, that didn't know that that was his swan song. They all said the right thing, and they all were politically correct and said, boy, if this is his last game. They knew.
Yeah.
They knew it was his last game. Because you don't let a guy walk. You don't let a guy go if, they just couldn't come to the contract number. The problem with a guy like
that game
Wayne
was
Simmonds,
played at Wells Fargo Center. Would he have been on the ice Saturday night?
No, maybe not. Because
Really?
they would have tried to protect the investment.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, and yet maybe because I don't think he did not. The telltale sign that the trade was happening was yesterday at 11 o'clock in Voorhees. He didn't walk out for the skate. But the deal really wasn't, is consummated, finalized, the right word, right? Until
was it 2 o'clock?
2:58.
Yeah.
Like 2:58.
Almost 3 p.m., yeah.
And they said they got on the phone at 2:50.
And in the NHL, you don't have to have it all buttoned up by the time the clock strikes 3.
Right, yeah.
You can just have an agreement in principle and then work out the details after 3 o'clock. And that's essentially what they did. Okay, we'll get down to the turkey and write it all up and get all the stuff on language and legalese and all the stuff that they need to get. I did have one person tell me, too, and this is accurate. Everybody it's such a shame. Wayne Simmonds left. Aren't you sad? If they really missed Wayne Simmonds, they could sign him back after the season because, Nashville isn't going to keep him. He is the epitome of what they call a rental player. Nashville is renting Wayne Simmonds to try and get postseason success. That said, will the Flyers re-sign him? No, they probably won't.
That's what I was going to ask.
Because the same problem that they had before, which is that, the amount of money and his age that Wayne Simmonds wants versus what they have available to pay and what they feel like they could pay and still pay the other guys.
Yeah.
It just isn't there. By the way, MG, it's Buffalo tonight and at Columbus. So you had the C right. You were saying Carolina or Columbus.
I fix it later.
Right, you were in the ballpark. Yeah.
Here's a text message that we got yesterday.
Okay.
The Flyers have a terrible GM. To see what the league got for mediocre players and to see what the Flyers got for Stoley and Simmonds was a joke. Ryan Hartman, he was scouted as a speedy Mike Richards. The target from Nashville should have always been Eli Tolvanen. If he wasn't available, you take the next call.
Sure, sir, or ma'am. Just GMs are us. I mean, you're an idiot, dude, whoever this person is out there. The reason that they couldn't get anything for Simmonds is because nobody else wanted to pay him.
Yeah, I don't think the market was there for Simmonds like the Philly fans think it was.
It's not.
Clearly not.
And it won't be there after he leaves Nashville. He'll have a hard time finding a job wherever he's going to play in the league next year.
He's going to find a job.
I'm not saying he's going to be unemployed. I'm going to say it's going to be hard, though, for him to find that job at the money that his agent and he think that he's worth.
Mm.
There's a talk, and I don't know if you guys brought this up at all. There's talk that the first deal in the afternoon yesterday was to Calgary, and that Wayne Simmonds said, no, I don't want to go to Calgary.
Wow.
And
so they asked him.
He had like 12 teams that were he could veto.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my first inclination when I heard that was, oh, yeah, well, Canadian money, American money doesn't want to take. No, it could boil down to as simple as Wayne Simmonds' fiance is pregnant, expecting.
Yeah, they don't want to go all the way up there.
They don't want to go somewhere that's far away,
Absolutely.
from the medical care that they're used to.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. People forget these guys are,
have
normal
lives.
people. Exactly. They have lives.
Yeah, no, and I don't think, look, I think Wayne Simmonds wanted to stay, but they couldn't work out a contract extension. So he didn't want to stay so badly that he was like, yeah.
He was going to give him the hometown discount.
Exactly.
Because not for nothing, and it's a good point with the hometown discount, Mike, because they already got the hometown discount when they had him the first time. When he first came and emerged, he was on some low deal, some low cap hit deal. It wasn't until these last couple of years that the price went up. Okay, when he first came around, Wayne Simmonds' contract was really a deal for what they were getting for him. He was underpaid for what they were getting for him at that point.
Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. All right, let's move over to this Bryce Harper now.
Oh,
all right? I would imagine that you would probably be at the end of the line on patience on this one. So today, Nolan Arenado signs this 8-year, $260 million extension deal with the Colorado Rockies with a third-year opt-out clause. So now, Frank was on with this earlier. He thinks that has kind of reset the Harper market, which means you could be going back through a whole nother round of negotiations and stuff. This might not be something that is vetted and finalized for another week or so.
I was listening to the esteemed Golick and Wingo this morning on the way into work, and I heard them talking about the Harper situation and why it's taking so long.
Yeah, and guess what? I have some cuts from the Buster Olney podcast that I wanted to play with that goes along. But go ahead, because you did text me this morning about that.
I did. I knew you weren't awake yet. Did I wake you up?
No, I was well awake.
At 7:03, you were awake?
He's never sleeping.
Yeah, I'm up.
Well, nevertheless, the fundamental question is, does Bryce Harper really want to come to the Phillies, or is this just Boris doing – look, I'll say this.
Wow. You think that's a legitimate thing right now, that Harper has no interest in the Phillies?
He doesn't want to come to the Phillies. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play. I think that's a legitimate question to ask. Does he not want to come to the Phillies, or is it just Boris working to get his client the maximum amount of money?
I don't know that – I will honestly say I don't know that the –
if Bryce Harper wanted to come to the Phillies, he'd turn to Boris and say, get the 10 years, $345 million. Let's just make the deal. Let's get me a camp.
Why?
If he wanted to be here, he'd be signed.
Yeah, but why? Why wouldn't he say, all right, listen, the Phillies where I want to go, but do your job and let's get the most money I can? Now, I don't agree with that. I would love for him to say what you're saying. But
I don't believe Bryce Harper, if he was ranking the teams, would say Philly was in his top one or two.
Why? Yeah. Just because, I mean, L.A. now is obvious.
Despite the fact that he's had, career numbers at Citizens Bank Park, right? I mean, the guy is very comfortable hitting at Citizens Bank Park. But what is the history behind why nobody can climb into his head and find out why does he not want to join a Philadelphia Phillies team?
And most people look at him as a West Coast guy. He's a little laid back. Maybe he wants to play where it's nicer weather. There's another possibility. Maybe he doesn't want to face the Nationals 18 times. Is that a possibility?
Why wouldn't he want to face his old team? I think that'd be fun for him.
That's kind of a logic I don't understand. Like, I would want to stick it to the team that didn't pay me.
Yep.
Well, they offered to pay him. He said no. They offered him $300 million.
Yeah, but he said I want $4.
But that's not.
How'd he get you?
It's not like they came up small. No one else has topped their offer per se. Here's what Mark Teixeira said on the biggest issue coming with Harper to the Phillies.
Bryce Harper's a great player, but I think the bigger issue is the first question from the Philly media is going to be, hey, dude, was our $300 million not good enough for you back in December or January? I mean, what took you so long? And Bryce will have, a kind of a statement and a prepared answer for this.
Think about that now. When he comes down to the media for the first time and has to answer the questions, hey, guys, or what took you so long? Was the money not, did you finally run out of options and then come here?
When or if? I mean, I still think. Don't you think there's a chance he doesn't come to Philadelphia?
You have to think that at this point, yeah.
A week ago, I felt, they'll get it done. It'll just
going to happen. Right.
Now, I think I'm legitimately in that camp that says, I don't think he wants to be here.
Man.
If you're the Phillies, do you set a deadline and say, this is our offer, you have 3 days to get back to us, and otherwise, have fun finding it someplace else?
Well, and not for nothing, don't you think the Phillies have already set that deadline internally?
No, I'm saying, they might have said it internally, but do they say to him,
right?
Hey, Boris, $350, 10 years, take it or leave it. That's our offer.
I thought you were going to say bleeper, get off the pot, right? Basically, that's what you're asking.
I think they're afraid to do that, right? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but at some point,
the Phillies are to draw the line in the sand.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think the Phillies have been embarrassed a little bit in the situation, too. You have your owner flying out on his bombardier that everybody's tracking, right? Your private plane, and everybody's, just monster, insane number of tweets of the plane was spotted, but then they sent it back for contact. Oh, no, wait, the plane is there. The plane is there. Give me a break, right? Like, are you going to sign him or not? And I think the Phillies... They're old school. You know that, Mike Gill. The Phillies are very old school conservative, and old school conservative says you don't show up your potential future employer. Now, it's not Bryce Harper that did it. It's Boris.
This is Buster Olney who talked about the Phillies setting a deadline.
I heard from a number of agents and executives who said most of the time the idea of a deadline in negotiation is stupid. But if you're in the Phillies' position now, it's a little bit like playing poker, and you feel like the other side is bluffing. You know, the suggestion that maybe Scott Boras has other $300 million plus offers. If you're not buying that, that would be part of your reason for putting a deadline on top of what we talked about, getting Bryce into camp or getting a decision and maybe overcoming your own concerns about whether or not he actually wants to play for you.
You know,
there it is.
There it is at the end. Your own concerns. I mean, did he just kind of say that is your concern, that you don't even know he wants to play for you?
Right. I mean, because he said all the right things. Look, the courting process has been going on long enough that you ought to get a feel, right? And it's kind of like when some guy says, I'm going to go to the stadium store, and then he ditches you, right? Yeah, I mean,
I know
Bryce Harper has probably said all the right things in the one-on-one meetings, and yet behind the scenes, Boras is like, and then I'll just float the Dodgers out there and we'll get another $20 million. Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the cat and mouse game that you play when you're the team that is making an offer. You're just kind of at the mercy of believing whether or not the reports are true or not.
If you're the Phillies, though, can't you just say, all right, you know what, enough's enough? How much do you want? What's the most that you want right now? All right, you want $345, we'll give you $360. That's our last offer. Give him what he wants. Offer him what he wants. Do you want him or not? Because it seems like it's
I don't know that you can do that, though. That gets a little. You're getting a little reckless.
I don't think it's reckless. I think you sit down and you say, all right, you guys have gone to all the teams that are interested. We've been back and forth enough now. What's the number here? What's the number that's going to take?
That these negotiations, that somebody could sit in a room for 8 hours and get nothing accomplished.
Zero.
Unless you're talking to Pete Thompson. Here's Mark Teixeira on Harper and the biggest issue to coming to the Phillies. This is an extended part of what he said earlier.
The toughest fans in baseball are Philly fans. You know, maybe the most exciting and crazy and rabid fans might be in New York and Boston, but the toughest fans are in Philly. And he's going to have some answering that first day of spring training if indeed he does sign with the Phillies.
So he continues to add on there. He knows how tough the fans are here. Is Bryce Harper ever going to be embraced if the Philly fans know that they weren't really his first choice? And he's backing himself into that corner. That's kind of why I asked the question on Twitter earlier today. Like, at this point, do you even care? Because I think people are so turned off by him that they might not embrace him if he comes here.
Until he comes in and hits the game-winning grand slam, or he hits, I don't know, some ridiculous 14 home runs in the first 16 games.
You might have to do that, though, to win him over.
I don't know. As soon as he gets in that Phillies uniform, and as soon as we start shifting the narrative of these conversations of Bryce Harper as a Philly, it's going to die down. It's just right now there's so much unknown and so much misleading information and reports out there that it's become frustrating to the fans, and rightfully so.
I don't remember anything like it where it's been, and this is the new reality of Major League Baseball, too, of big names that wait, because the teams are finally taking a hard line like, look, I don't care what your pedigree is. We're not paying that price.
Yeah.
And the agents are saying, no, this guy's been to this number of All-Star games, and this is his OB, this is on base percentage. This is how great he is. All these stats, all these analytics, right? And they just go back, forth, and then it's the player that ultimately, look how long it took Jake Arrieta to get going. He said that. It took him that long, but because his agent was trying to get him the most money. I hate it. Just sign.
Pete Thompson, who is one band or artist you feel is completely underrated?
I happen to like the Bare Naked Ladies. A lot of people don't. I think that they didn't get enough recognition. The original lineup, there's still a lineup touring around that doesn't have some people in it. And,
It's a good one.
Yeah. Legit.
Broke into the old apartment.
My favorite song was Alcohol.
Of course.
Gin and juice, gin and tea for me or something to whatever.
See, I asked the question. He gave me an answer.
He delivered.
He didn't give me some
no hesitation.
Convoluted, like this question doesn't have. The question was very simple.
Oh, is Shander going all over the map?
One band or artist you feel is completely underrated?
Yeah. Yeah, Shander went a different way.
Yeah, he went with, that question doesn't make any sense. It doesn't definitively. One band.
I could see doing that to buy yourself time to think of a band name. But
That's a PT move.
All right, we'll get ready to wrap up the show. Mike Gill, Ryan Rothstein, Pete Thompson. Tuesday with Thompson and Josh will perform today's 5 questions.
Gentlemen, question number 1. One of the reasons why GM Chuck Fletcher said the Flyers traded Wayne Simmonds was, quote, "We weren't prepared to sign him right now. It was important for us to get something back," unquote. But what about the other guys who are going to be free agents this summer? Doesn't that feel like a weak excuse?
I think they had even a less market than if Simmonds got this back in return. What kind of market does Raffle have and Brian Elliott?
Correct. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the dilemma is, are you sending a message to the rest of the team that's still around of, well, we traded Simmer, so that means we're not going for it. Going for it, you weren't going to make it anyway. I mean, it'll take a miracle for you to make it, okay? And I'm the biggest Flyers fan there is. Gill said it earlier. They have to almost be perfect after already almost being perfect. So, Simmer's speech when he left was good. Chuck Fletcher, you got something, okay? And he got something with somebody else's problem. Really, it was Hextall that could have moved Simmer when he was at his highest value and chose not to. Don't put it on Chuck Fletcher for not getting enough when he wasn't the guy. He inherited the problem and did the best he could.
Yeah, it wasn't just about his contract. That just made it that much easier for them to get rid of him. I think it was always in their plans that he was going, and it was time regardless.
Guys, question number 2 on that same Baseball Tonight podcast. You were playing audio from Buster Olney and Mark Teixeira infer that the reason why Dallas Keuchel hasn't signed yet is because Boris is making him wait for Harper to sign. Do you buy that?
I don't see why I wouldn't buy it.
I don't know what to buy. What am I buying
Is
at this point?
Is Boris Keuchel's agent?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I thought so. I'm saying, yeah, he's saying, let me set the market here.
Yep.
And then I'll work on starting something for you.
But meanwhile, Keuchel just sits idly by waiting to get a team and to get paid. That said, love him or hate him, you got to admire Scott Boras for doing what he's programmed to do.
Yep.
Squeeze the absolute most money out of the owners. And he's doing it.
Yep.
Guys, question number 3. Prediction, will Joel Embiid come back versus the Warriors this Saturday night?
I don't know. I thought he was going to be playing against the Thunder. That was the initial report. Thunder and Warriors, and then possibly sit out the game after the Warriors. But now that he's not playing against the Thunder, maybe it's more serious than we think, or maybe they're just being precautionary once again.
Will he play against the Warriors?
It's Saturday night at home against the Warriors.
And national TV audience?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, then he's going to play.
Well, Thursday's national TV, too.
Thursday's not playing.
He's out. And so is Boban. They're out without Boban and Embiid on Thursday night.
Jonah Bolden, was that who started the other night?
Yeah, he played pretty well.
He did.
He got in some foul trouble.
PT got in some timing trouble.
Yeah, I think we'll. I don't know
speed trouble.
I don't know that we'll see Embiid on Saturday.
I don't think we will either at this point.
All right, so that's a no, and a yes. Okay, just record that for the record, Josh.
Guys, speaking of Thursday night, will be a players-only TNT doubleheader.
I'm out on that.
Mute.
Does anybody have an explanation for why we keep getting this?
They think it's good.
Yeah, they're trying to be hip, do something different, give you the player's perspective.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen in television, and I've been around a long time. And not for nothing, when Kevin frickin' McHale is the best thing that you're watching out of all the broadcasters on there, that's saying something.
He's doing the game Thursday
the
night
only
with Marv
time
Albert.
I ever thought Kevin McHale was funny was in the Cheers episode where he was counting the rivets in the floor. Put a real play-by-play person in there.
Agree.
Yeah, Marv Albert and Kevin McHale are doing the Sixer game Thursday night.
Did you say hi to Kenny Albert at the back of the press box the other night?
I didn't see him.
Hey, Pete.
You know why?
Question number 5, final thoughts.
Question 5, my final thoughts?
Yes.
Thoughts, BT. Thoughts, BT.
Slow down
PT.
and show Gill where the store is next time.
Yeah, was there another store? I never saw it.
They're all over the place.
Yeah,
Mind
they're
yourself,
everywhere.
you're a grown man.